What was the largest acquisition that just happened to date, ever
In crypto?
In crypto.
Well, there was the Ripple Ninja Trader one.
No,
excuse me, Kraken Ninja Trader one was 1.5. But Ripple just bought Hidden Road for 1.25.
Yeah.
So why did the SEC drop its appeal against Ripple? I think the real question is, why did they bring the case at all? The SEC has not only dropped its appeal against Ripple, they've now...
And you mentioned Hidden Road earlier, the acquisition. Yeah. I think you spent 1.25 billion on that.
Yes.
Is that an indication that Ripple's going to be more acquisitive going forward now?
And I think the industry is still underestimating the shift from the headwinds to the tailwinds. That's going to make a bigger difference than people think. And finally, the US market is really unlocked.
So what about the new world? Distributed ledger technologies have changed the game for settlement speed and security, reducing.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
What's up, good glitches? Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra foolishness. Shout out to the latest sub. Appreciate you stopping by and tuning in. Don't forget to drop an elbow on that likey button. On the top ropes, we got XRP, still currently right around 221, 222. We got one from Ripple to pop things off. We also got an update on the Ripple Circle acquisition, the takeover. Ripple says in the newest Crypto in a Minute, Ripple Chief Legal Officer Stu Alderati explains why the SEC dropped its appeal against Ripple March 2025 and where the U.S. is going with smart crypto regulation on the horizon, protecting consumers, safeguarding markets, stopping bad actors, supporting innovation, the internet of value.
I feel good. I condensed 6 years of my life into 60 seconds. Hi, this is Stu Alderati, and this is Crypto in a Minute. So why did the SEC drop its appeal against Ripple? I think the real question is, why did they bring the case at all? The SEC has not only dropped its appeal against Ripple, they've now dropped every case against every crypto company in the United States. Why? Because the SEC has now admitted what we've always been saying, that you can't bring enforcement actions for violating the law without first explaining what the law is. And we never had clear laws, rules, and regulations regarding crypto in this country. So we're going to clean up the mess. We're going to get out of the courtroom. We're going to get back to running business, and we're going to now press forward, working with Congress to get smart crypto regulation in place that protects consumers, that protects the integrity of the market, that keeps bad actors out, and most importantly, allows the innovation to flourish.
Meanwhile, update on Ripple Circle acquisition. Ripple increased the bid for Circle, isn't confirmed, but there is a serious back and forth. Can confirm Ripple has gone beyond the initial reports of their first public $5 billion offer. John Deaton says Circle filed its S1 with the SEC April 1st, 2025, planning to list on the NYSE under the ticker CRCL with JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup. The IPO is expected this summer. Circle is aiming for a valuation between $4 and $5 billion for its IPO, hence the $5 billion offer from Ripple. What we need to remember is that Circle's valuation of $4 to $5 billion is significantly lower than the $9 billion valuation it targeted during the failed SPAC deal in 2022. Circle's rejection of the $5 billion offer suggests that Circle believes its market value, particularly post-IPO, is likely to exceed the $5 billion offer, possibly approaching or surpassing the $9 billion from 2022 SPAC attempt. When you add in the regulatory 180 we witnessed with an administration super favorable to crypto in general, coupled with the Stable Genius Act likely to pass, a $10 billion deal is not crazy. Will Ripple up their bid to $9-10 billion? Circle, VetXO in acquisition mode. So it begins.
And you mentioned Hidden Road earlier, the acquisition. Yeah. I think you spent 1.25 billion on that.
Yes.
Is that an indication that Ripple's going to be more acquisitive going forward now?
Yes.
Good morning, Crypto Must Watch. Ripple CEO makes it clear Ripple is focused on acquiring companies, not IPO or ETFs. Acquisitions are more important than an IPO or an ETF. Right now, Ripple at its core is a blockchain infrastructure company.
You know, we have been in a very fortunate position to be able to grow the business organically. We're also, frankly, more proactive in looking at acquisitions. This is an industry that finally is going to be able to thrive in the United States, the largest economy in the world. And I think the industry is still underestimating the shift from the headwinds to the tailwinds. That's going to make a bigger difference than people think. And finally, the U.S. market is really unlocked.
So it sounds like what you're saying, acquisitions are almost more of a priority now than an IPO for you. So then what would you be looking for to buy, and how big are you willing to go?
Well, I'm not going to name names, but look, Ripple at its core is a blockchain infrastructure company. We sell our technologies to business, primarily financial institutions, and we'll look at other things that are blockchain infrastructure companies.
Banks, financial institutions, enterprises on their way to pump our bags up. Pump our bags up. We got Cowboy Crypto. Acquiring Circle would be a massive leap for Ripple. Acquiring Circle would be game over for Ripple and XRP past the moon to infinity and beyond. Not only because of Circle's backing from the likes of Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Coinbase, Fidelity, but Ripple would be gaining Circle's 39 plus listed investments such as Tri-Sky Fire, developed by ex-Ripple executive Crypto Cowboy, and Securitized, where Paul Atkins was recently a board member before being sworn in as the new SEC chairman. The Ripple acquisitions continue. The takeover continues. We got the Digital Pound Foundation. It's been a busy week for crypto asset regulation in the UK. On Tuesday, the 29th of April, we saw a published draft statutory instrument to bring crypto assets, including stablecoins, into the UK financial services regulations. The mass adoption of digital assets, blockchains, distributed ledgers is here. We got another one from Ripple here. The Middle East, Africa are among the most excited regions for enterprises crypto adoption, and Ripple is proud to be leading the way. All roads lead to the bridge.
The Middle East and Africa is one of the most promising regions in the world for enterprise crypto development and adoption. The United Arab Emirates is one of the first countries in the region to provide regulatory clarity for the industry. We are proud to be the first blockchain-enabled payment service provider to be licensed by the Dubai Financial Services Authority.
Digital Perspective says, did anyone else just hear Nadine stop herself from saying Ripple? Did you catch it? The DTCC, our great collateral experiment, showcased the transformative potential of institutionalized, decentralized finance, illustrating how digital technology can connect siloed systems, optimize capital utilization, and enhance collateral efficiency.
The move to digital collateral has never been more relevant in playing a critical role in enhancing liquidity and strengthening resilience and soundness of the financial markets. It is well known that collateral is a multifaceted ecosystem with complexity growing each year. So what about the new world? Distributed ledger technologies have changed the game for settlement speed and security, reducing timing from days to minutes. A revolutionary approach to data and smart contracts enables seamless connectivity across continent and products, creating truly holistic global collateral pools. Our goal now is to find common ground for a unified digital collateral infrastructure for the entire industry, and we believe that an open, interoperable approach to this new infrastructure is the best path forward as both the technology and global regulations continue to evolve. Our collateral app chain enables financial institutions to tokenize assets using any tokenization capability and issue assets onto any network, private or public, while remaining seamlessly integrated with TradFi market infrastructure.
Did you hear it? The Ripple slip, distributed ledger technologies, interoperability. Sounds like XRP. X marks the spot. Watcher guru Justin, Senator Cynthia Lummis says President Trump supports her bill to purchase 1 million Bitcoin.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my strategic Bitcoin reserve initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money. What a wonderful blessing for hardworking people all over the world to have this great new technology and to have America lead the way in implementing this wonderful wonderful innovation.
XRP, faster, cheaper, greener, more efficient. Also, if you remember President Trump's strategic reserve post, XRP was first on the list. In Australia, you can buy XRP from an ATM machine. Man, we need this globally. Pick up some ZERPs via ATM. Let's go. The AI, it's hilarious watching it dawn on all these Bitcoin maxis that it was XRP all along. Bitcoin was just a test. Get ready for it. XRP to go live. Ripple acquisition is bigger than you think. Hidden road.
What was the largest acquisition that just happened to date ever
in crypto?
Crypto.
Well, there was the Ripple Ninja Trader one. Excuse me, Kraken Ninja Trader one was 1.5. But Ripple just bought Hidden Road for 1.25.
Yeah. So the second largest, but let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Especially the Ripple one.
Yeah, Ripple. This one's interesting. So for people who don't know, Hidden Road was started in 2018 by this guy Mark Ash. He was an exec at who's the guy that SAC Capital, Point 72. He's an exec from Point 72. Set up the shop in like global shop, Netherlands, UK. I think they're actually headquartered in BVI. Shout out Nick Carter. I think they backed them. They led the first round in 2018. Basically, they are an institutional prime brokerage firm, right? So they do clearing, financing. They clear more than 3 trillion annually across markets.
Not just crypto.
Not just crypto. So they actually started as an FX firm and then expanded into crypto. 300 institutional clients. Everyone from like Wintermute to Virtu trades on them. And they're a massive clearinghouse. They don't do any prop trading in-house. They promote like conflict free, very tech forward. I actually met with one of the founders the other day. A phenomenal firm. And yeah, so they clear like FX, equities, commodities, digital assets, crypto, fixed income, cross margining capabilities across all of those. Massive firm. They just got bought by Ripple. Just bought them for $1.25 billion.
So what's going inside of Brad's brain when he decided to buy that?
Genius. Ripple willed a not the most what is the polite way to put this? What I think was a very retail driven idea, which is using XRP as a clearance currency.
Right.
Obviously that's never going to work. You can't have like a volatile asset as a clearing currency. Ripple and Brad and David and that whole team willed this basically like silly idea, which was using XRP as a clearance currency into reality by just, basically shilling this thing for years, getting the token to go up.
Remember, volatility doesn't matter when the token clears in 3 to 5 seconds. It's bigger than you think. XRP coming for that #1 spot. Andrew D. Vilbis, we're talking major catalyst, global liquidity, instant settlement, a global layer 1 chain. We're talking XRP, all the money, all the value.
I can follow up with one question, Simon, if you don't mind. Do you see RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, as being liquid enough for this purpose?
So I think yes. Stable coins are extremely polarized, right? So the reality is that Tether and Circle have been doing a great job for the last 8 years, right? Obviously it started with Tether, then Circle, and they've been doing great, and they've really been able to allow that global liquidity that doesn't matter what platform, what pool, what DEX, you can access it, right? Whereas other stable coins, which potentially have better infrastructure, like PayPal's PYUSD, like segregated funds, bankruptcy remote, things like that, which in theory are safer, they haven't been able to get the liquidity that the other two guys have, right? So if you're utilizing RLUSD in order to have it become that type of CBIT, right, which is Customers by Instant Settlement Network, to interact with Hidden Road, then you've just created a catalyst for something that you need to drive success, right? So if Hidden Road is doing a good job, if Hidden Road is attracting enough clients, then they'll start using RLUSD as its instant settlement network.
We're closer than you think. The transformation of wealth, the transformation of value is upon us. And XRP and the XRP ledger will be the premier go-to blockchain distributed ledger technology in the utility era. Know what you hold. Mustache. Many altcoins have built up a long and strong support zone since the beginning of the year and have recently broke out of it. I think we'll see a return at least to the structure break blue in the coming weeks, months. The next phase is upon us. The next moonshot. And the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP rich list, and it only takes a small piece of the prize to take us to the promised land. How much is your XRP worth is calculated based on the valuation model developed by Susan Athey, board of directors at Ripple, and Robert Michnick, Stanford Graduate School of Business. They got this thing set to default when you calculate it. XRP price at $1,632.35, and that's just a small piece of the liquidity pool. Know what you hold, know what's coming, and know why. They wanted you out by any means necessary, but we kept on holding and kept on adding to our generational wealth bags. Where will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? We'll catch you up here on the mothership. I am the XRP bagman, the Moon Commander. Don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on a likey button. BYOB. Bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. See you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Can you take me with you when we blow up? Can you take me with you when we blow up? When we blowin'. When we blowin'. Can you take me with you when we blow up? Can you take me with you when we blow